and more parents at home with their students, kind of spending some quality time. Of course, a lot of times our heads are in our phones, looking at social media, watching news, and it can be really consuming and negative. And so, any advice for parents, for students who are kind of dealing with mental health issues because of that content?
Yes, because we have to recognize we are in a mental health epidemic, especially for our young people. So the ability to access the news, which tends to be negative in this day and age, consistently and constantly for 24 hours, really deeply affects mood and well-being. So advice for both parents or students or anyone who either chooses to or for work purposes has to review the news cycle continuously. I have about four things that I'd love to share. First would be listen to your body, right? So if we're looking at a news program or we're even reading about the situation at home or abroad, if your body feels tense and tight and you get chest pain or feel sweaty, that's a signal, right? So follow those signals and take a break and do something that will make you will help to relieve your stress. Number two, set boundaries. So if you're going to scroll through the news or watch the news programs, do it for a set period of time, say 30 minutes. Set a timer even so that you're really aware of how much you're consuming on a daily basis. Then consider volunteering. Stepping outside of ourselves and helping others has really been proven to help mental health and well-being. Actually, even our volunteers at Crisis Text Line have reported that volunteering on the platform has helped with their own mental health and their own resilience and their ability to even connect through relationships. And then lastly, reach out for support. So you never know, what's coming next in the news. And there could be something very triggering, whether it's about the war, whether it's the local politics, reaching out for support, whether it's to a friend, a family member, or to Crisis Text Line, where we have 24/7 support.
One of our reporters just did a story maybe last week about doom scrolling, is what a lot of people call it, where it's just you're looking at your phone and you keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, and you're just getting hit with all of this negative or kind of triggering content. And so, are there different apps or ways that people can actually navigate how long they're on their phone? I think one of the um, statistics he brought up was sometimes young people on average can be on their phone for 6 or more hours a day, which is mind-boggling.
It is. It's a lot to consume. And I think, even the basics on, say, an iPhone, where it will tell you how much time you're spending on your phone in the different activities is helpful to look at, even if it's after the fact, because having that data is important. So you can sit, especially young people, right, where they're not necessarily aware of how much time they're spending. At the end of the day, I would say go back and look and see how much time was spent, in news media, and see if you can dial it back again by setting those boundaries so that when your alarm goes off, it's time to step back to do something else. It doesn't mean that someone can't come back to it, but that for that moment, take a break.
I think recently a lot of people have had all eyes on kind of the negative aspects of social media, right? How it can impact your mental health, how you can see things that are triggering, how students and children a lot of times are just kind of consumed with it. They can't leave their phone or social media alone. But also, I think it's important to remember that social media has a lot of good qualities as well. People are able to connect with others, able to learn things. A lot of people's business is social media. So, any advice on how to kind of just embrace the positivities from social media and stray away from the negatives?
Yeah. So recognizing, like you just said, that especially post-pandemic, isolation and loneliness are two things that young people in particular are struggling with. We know this from some of our post-conversation data. And to be able to connect with someone on social media can be very powerful and very positive, especially for, say, our LGBTQ youth who may not be able to connect in person with someone who's like them. And so there's always a positive and a negative. And again, it's about maintaining those boundaries and making sure that you're checking in with yourself about how a particular situation or a particular connection is going on social media.
Anything else that you want to highlight or talk about regarding
Yeah.
this topic?
Yes. So over 70% of our texters are young people. We had 1.3 million conversations last year. And it just tells us that young people use Crisis Text Line as a medium for support, for in the moment, confidential and anonymous support. And anyone can text hello or help to 741-741 and receive support from a live volunteer crisis counselor, 24/7 free, with the supervision of our mental health professionals. And we're available in English